Hello, I am Chandler Klebs. You might know me as the anti-choice determinist, but I'm also many other things. I'm a person who drinks Pepsi, as you just found out, if you've been watching this video. I like Pepsi. It's a nice drink, and it wakes me up in the morning. This is a very interesting video, because ordinarily I have this video series I do called The Anti-Choice Determinist, where I talk about abortion, war, suicide, all the things that kill people and why I'm against them, and also why we don't have free will, because every choice we make has a cause that comes from outside of us. And it's cool, you know. But right now, today I am off work, and my mom is gone, and I could be interrupted at any time. I have absolutely no clue when, because there's supposed to be some guy who's gonna spray for bugs or something in the cabinets. We had to empty the cabinets out in our apartment so they can spray to keep bugs out or whatever. And it's kind of interesting, you know. I thought, hey, why don't I just record a video of indefinite length? Like, I have no idea what I'm going to say in this video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I don't know when I'm going to be interrupted. And I was going to talk about things that are unknown, things that are an accident. And so this kind of fits in with the free will subject in a way. But this is just kind of a video log, you know, where I'm just talking about my life and the kinds of crazy stuff that's going on. Stuff that's totally out of my control. Because that's the whole point. I've realized that. And when we talk about control, you know, we're talking about, can we make things and people do what we want? Which sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But that doesn't mean we're in control, because we don't control our own desires. But anyway, I had this idea. I was going to talk about the word accident. Because here's the deal. The word accident has different meanings. And I have my WordWeb dictionary here on my iPod, and I'm gonna talk about it. Definition 1 is an unfortunate mishap, especially one causing damage or injury. So, for example, a car accident, the same as a car wreck, you know, we call it an accident because it causes harm. Do we call things an accident when they're good things? That's weird to me, like, because most of the time an accident is what we call it when something did not go the way that we had planned, the way we wanted things to go, when something bad happens. And so accidents in that sense are just bad things. So yes, an accident can exist in that sense. Definition 2 is anything that happens suddenly or by chance without an apparent cause. Now here's the thing, is definition 2, you know, anything that happens suddenly or by chance without an apparent cause, well, an apparent cause. And this is interesting because there's always a cause. As far as I know, like, I'm determinist, like, everything has a cause. But if we don't see the cause for something, we may assume that there is no cause. Which kind of makes sense, because just as we see something happen, like you know, like the weather. The weather's crazy, especially if you live in the Midwest. I live in Lisa, Missouri, and the weather is so stupid here. You have no idea unless you live in Missouri, like the Midwest. Like, you never know. One day it could be freezing. The next day it could be nice fall or even summer type weather. You just never know. And so it appears very random. It appears crazy. I'm sure there's a reason for why the weather is the way it is. I'm sure there's a cause for weather that happens, but I'm not a meteorologist, and I don't really plan on going into that field, because can I change the weather? If I thought that I had an influence and could make the weather be what I want, then maybe I would care about the causes. But I can't. I mean, if I could control the weather, I would automatically, I just make it be like 70 degrees all the time. You know, whether for wearing shorts. I would make sure it only rained when people were asleep, you know, all that kind of stuff. That'd be awesome if the weather could be controlled. But here's the thing, like I want to point out that if I did have that power and controlled the weather, I myself would be controlled. I would not have a free choice or a free will in that, because the reason I want the weather to be warm is because I don't like cold weather because it freezes me, you know? I have to, you know, I work at Hy-Vee, which you can probably tell on my shirt, and I bring in those carts. And I'm out in the cold a lot in the winter, and I don't like it. Nobody does, but hey, someone's got to bring in those carts. But I like it, you know. I mean, I like my job and all. But anyway, getting sidetracked. See, that was an accident because that it wasn't what I planned, you know. But see, here's the deal. I want to talk about causes and how things have a cause. This kind of fits in with my usual theme of what I do, even though this is kind of an unofficial episode, you know. But yeah, like, it's kind of weird. Everything has a cause, but we can't know the cause of everything. And here's the deal. This is kind of a weird thing because we can't know the cause of everything. I can't completely know what's going on in my own head, even. There's the unconscious or subconscious, depending on what you call it. And so I don't really know why I do everything I do. And I certainly don't understand other people. You know, like, I don't know, why do people watch football? What's up with that? I don't care, you know? And so there's things we don't understand, things we don't know. And I'll admit it, you know, like, it's kind of a weird thing. Like, I'm honest enough to admit that there are things I don't know. I'm not one of those people who pretends to know everything. So in a way you could say I'm agnostic in the sense that I don't know everything. There's things I don't know, things that I never will know, as far as I can tell. You know, I don't know what happened in billions of years before I existed. I have no way of knowing, and that's the funny thing about it. So yeah, I mean, I could always be wrong about things, but big deal. I don't care that much. And here's what I mean. Like, I'm not really that concerned. See, because if what I believe about something is false, I will be shown that, unless something kills me first. Like, I think the truth always wins, you know? I think that eventually, if something can be known, eventually people will know it. And there's other things that just can't be known. And this is interesting, you know, to me. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, nobody really knows what happened in the infinite past. And then there's the debate over whether the past is infinite or if there was a beginning. And I'm like, how can there be a beginning? Because what begins the beginning? And so, like, that's kind of like my worldview right now, is that I'm a determinist, see. Everything has a cause, and if that's the case, then there can be no first cause, because what causes the first cause? It's funny. It's really funny. Like, as long as there is matter, as long as the material universe exists and you have particles moving at the atomic level, there will always be cause and effect. There will always be determinism in that sense. Whether or not there will be living things to experience it or learn about it, that's another matter entirely. But I'm pretty sure the universe always has been and always will be. I mean, it's freaky. And speaking of accidents, like, well, what's the deal? Why is there a universe? Why does anything exist? I mean, these are big, deep philosophical questions. Why is there something rather than nothing, you know? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care that much. Like, because here's the deal. If the universe did not exist, if there was nothing and nothing existed, well, I wouldn't be here doing this video to talk about nothing existing. So I know that because I do exist and I am here on this planet in this big universe of all the things that exist, well, that's why I'm here. And I'll never know why. Because, like, here's the deal. Like, if there was to be nothing, or whether there was to be something, well, what determines that? What decides? What causes or chooses there to be something or nothing? Because here's the deal. Like, let's say that you're a theist. Let's say you believe in God or something like that. Well, in that case, then you're like, well, God decided that there would be a universe. Well, no. God couldn't decide that there would be a universe because the universe, by definition, in fact, since I've got my iPod here, let me type in the word universe. Yeah, everything that exists anywhere. You know, that's the definition I'm going by. Yeah, everything that exists anywhere. So basically, if there was a God, that God existed, then that God is the universe, basically, or part of the universe. Because if the universe is everything that exists, then the universe can't be created by something outside the universe. And this is cool. I mean, this is really awesome when you think about this, because this is kind of like the whole pantheism thing. Like, and I was introduced to this because of George Ortega, you know, like he's pantheist, kind of, he equates God with the universe, which is kind of interesting in a way. I mean, I'm not pantheist in the sense that he is, because I don't necessarily think that it is right, like, to say that God and the universe are the same thing. And the reason I don't do this is because people mean different things by God. And I think that separate words need to be used for separate meanings. So, like, yeah, the universe, everything that exists everywhere, you know, that's easy. Like, so I can talk that I'm part of the universe, you know. But God, usually people talk, you know, like in Christian theology, it's like, well, God exists outside of the universe. And how can you exist outside of the universe? Because that's existing outside of existence, which means you don't exist. So by definition, God doesn't exist. By that definition, you know? So that's just kind of funny how that works. And I'm a philosopher, so I have a lot of fun talking about all this stupid stuff. It's hilarious just to think about it, you know? So I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of crazy like that. Talking about the universe and everything having a cause. But you realize, like, what we label as an accident is usually just something that we didn't plan on it. We don't know the cause of something. And I don't know. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, for the most part, nobody cares as far as whether something is an accident, whether it has a cause or not. They don't care as long as it's good. You know, like, I don't really care if something's good. Who wants to know the cause? Who cares if it's good? You enjoy it. It's good, you know? If it's bad, however, if something is bad, if it causes pain, well, then you want to know the cause. And so here's what I've learned. Like, the only reason that we have philosophy, the only reason people have philosophy and religion and science, maybe not the only reason, but the main reason I think of why we have religion, philosophy, science, all these different things in the world is just because something is bad, something is wrong, something has hurt us, and so that means we go on a search, you know? And that's the big deal. Like, you know, that's why I do what I do. I mean, clearly, I was upset about abortion. I was upset about animal slaughter. I I'm upset about a lot of things, a lot of evil in this world, a lot of injustice, as many people are. And it's very simple in a way because I just, yeah, because something causes pain, then we seek to prevent it. That's it. You know, it's like there's no choice involved. That's just it. I mean, if somebody's hurting you, you try to fight back. Reflex. It's just a reflex, an automated response, a conditioned response, you know? Like something feels good, we keep doing it. Something feels bad, we don't want to do it no more. You know? And it's that simple. It's really that simple. You know? So everything can be explained. Like everything we do, I think, can be explained through natural causes, deterministic causes. You know, there's a cause for everything we do. And so, like, for example, what's the cause of this video? Well, I can tell you there's a number of causes for why I'm just rambling on about things being an accident and about things having a cause. And so nothing is really an accident. We just think it is, you know. Like, why am I doing this video at all? Is there a cause for that? Yes. Because for one thing, I like to talk, but not to other people. I like to talk to myself. And okay, here's the funny thing. You gotta understand this. This is hilarious. I like to record videos because I'm basically recording with my laptop this video, and I'm staring at myself talking. So it's like real time. I see myself. Like, I see how weird I look while I'm talking. And it's cool. Like, here I am in my bedroom, and I have no idea really what I'm going to say, but I like talking about it. And there's also more to it than just the fact that I like to talk and be philosophical, because I enjoy it. I want people to understand who I am, why I am who I am. I want people to get it, because if people get, like, if somebody just sees my angry rant videos against abortion, you know, like, they might get the idea that I'm some kind of a mean jerk or something, but they don't really know me. Like, people who know me in person know that I'm really, like, I'm a nice guy, I think. You know, like, I don't kill and rape people or steal or lie, that kind of stuff. And once again, that's not my choice either. It's not that I chose to be a nice guy. I just kind of was that way, you know. But yeah, I've been thinking about it, and you know, I want people to understand that there's more to me. There's more to my life than just my constant debates with people about abortion or free will or religion or something like that. And people don't have a clue. But see, here's the deal. I can't talk to people in person like I'm talking this video. And you know why? Because when I'm talking to people, they interrupt and they ask questions, which is good. And here's the deal. You know, I have my video series, The Anti-Choice Determinist, which it takes me a long time to get those videos uploaded because I don't have unlimited internet from home. But it's really, I plan to keep doing those videos unless something goes wrong. But yeah, like, what I want to do is I want to interact with another person. Like, I want to have somebody who will do a series of videos with me, and it could be part of, like, my Anti-Choice Determinist series. Like, I seriously need a co-host. And I even talked to my mom about it. Like, I was saying, well, my mom could record videos and we could talk about stuff. You know, that would be really awesome because I want her to be a part of what I'm doing too. Because, you know, she cares about some of the same things I do, but we're very different people. Totally different. You know, she believes in some kind of God. I don't. She was born in the 50s. I was born in the 80s, you know. I'm the computer generation, you know. she's not. There's a big difference between us. And oh, another thing is I'm a man, she's a woman. That's kind of another difference. But yeah, my mom and I are very, very different. And here's the thing is people have to get along in spite of their differences. And it's difficult. It's really difficult. I mean, there are times with everybody, including my mom, where I'm like, oh, I just can't communicate. How does this work? But that's just it, is we're forced to communicate with people even when we don't want to. That's the thing, like, do you really think that of my own will, especially not of a free will, because there's no such thing as a free will, but of my own will, would I stand in some place asking people if they want their food in paper or plastic bags? Well, no, not by myself, I wouldn't. But it's part of my job, and I need the money. That's part of it, I may enjoy my job, but that's what it comes down to, is that ordinarily I would not be doing that if I did not work that job, see? Because, I would be doing something else, like recording videos in my bedroom, or reading all my Kindle books. I got a lot of Kindle books. There's a lot of free Kindle books, and some I've bought too. I read George Ortega's book, Exploring the Illusion of Free Will. I read Trick Slattery's Breaking the Free Will Illusion. And I've been reading N.L. Vail's Free Will, the Ultimate in Nonsense, and I have some stuff like about naturalism. There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, there's so many awesome things to read that it's like, well, how do I do this? Like, I have more to do than I have time to do it. Because I like to read. I like to read and I like to listen to podcasts, but I also like to record videos in my bedroom and talk about all the things that I do. I'm having fun. I'm serious. Like, yeah, I get depressed, but sometimes, but like, yeah, I have a lot of fun in a way, because it's so interesting how life is. There's so many things to do, so many things to learn, and when people ask me things like, well, what's the purpose of life? And this is freaky too, because people are like, well, if you don't believe in God, then what's the purpose of your life? And I'm like, are you kidding? I live in the generation of My Little Pony, There's the internet. There's fun. Yeah, there's fun things to do, There's so much enjoyment in life, and what I think is sad is that people don't really enjoy life as much as they could. Like, if they weren't so wrapped up in certain things, and here's the thing about it, like, I work part-time, usually about 20 hours a week, something like that. And obviously, I don't make enough money to like live on my own, but at the same time, here's the deal, is like, if somebody has to work 40 hours a week, just to make enough money to survive, but then they have no free time whatsoever to do anything else, well, that's not living. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not living if all you do is work and you don't do anything you want to do. Because that's the freedom we want, is we want to be able to do things we want to do. And whether that be reading something or recording videos in your bedroom, or playing My Little Pony, or watching Disney movies, or dancing, or skating, or whatever, that's what we want to do. Everyone has their own desires. It's like, and that's cool. So we each have our own will, but we don't have a free will, because there's certain things we desire. That's just the way it is. Some people, they like to play sports. And I think it's sick, because sports are a way to get hurt. I don't like football. I mean, seriously, people get hurt playing football. People get hurt playing soccer. I mean, I tried to play soccer a long, long time ago. And the soccer ball, it hit me right in the nose, and that hurt so bad that I never attempted soccer again. I'll tell you, man. And I tried to catch a football one time. The son was throwing, and my pinky, this pinky to this day, is still not quite the same. It's sad. Like, it still hurts a little bit if I push it. It still remembers. It still hurts from when I tried to catch that football. And that was what? 2 or 3 years ago. I tried to catch that football. And I just can't do that. I don't want to be hurt. And so, yeah, I don't know why people do sports. And you know what I think the reason is people do sports? I think it's because of the money. Because for some reason people like to watch sports, people cheer, they're weird about their sports teams. So if you can make a lot of money playing sports and you don't have the talent or skill to do any other job to make your money, you play football, or baseball or basketball, Like I think, oh, these poor sports playing people, they couldn't get a safer, less dangerous job. And so they have to play sports. I feel sorry for these people, man. I just couldn't do it. And so like I'm weird because like I don't like sports. I don't like the idea of people getting hurt. I don't like the idea of people kill themselves over a football. It's sad. To me that's just tragic. And so yeah, but everything, there's a cause for that. There's a cause for why I don't like sports, obviously, if you look at my history. And so that whole rant that I just did just now about sports and why I don't like sports, I explained all the causes for why I don't like sports. I mean, there's always causes for it. And this is weird because I just know that some people are going to get mad if I dare talk about how I don't like sports, because some people are religious about their sports. I'll tell you. I mean, they get heartbroken if the Chiefs don't win. It's crazy, man. And I'm like, what's up with this? What is it with people? Everybody's got their thing, and I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't really think of all that much to say anymore, but yeah, that's kind of like my rant, this video where I'm just talking about all the crazy nonsense of life and how everything has a cause, even if we don't see the cause, and therefore we call it an accident. We call it chance or random, and like, nothing's random, nothing's chance. Everything happens for a cause. Now, is there an intention behind that? No. Because we do things that we don't plan on doing. And that comes from our lack of ability to predict everything, which comes from our lack of ability to know everything, which basically means that we're not all-knowing or omniscient. And since we are not, we make all kinds of mistakes and can't even successfully do our own plans. Think about it. If people, were complete, here's the deal. Free will, which is kind of weird, would basically imply that you could totally just choose anything. But there's also freedom of action. Like, you might choose to, first of all, if someone chooses to throw a football, they did not freely choose that, because there's a reason that they're throwing a football, because they want to throw a football, or because somebody wants to catch the football, which isn't me. I'm not the one who wants to catch the football. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always a cause for it. So there's no such thing as freely choosing. And another thing is, they might, for example, have the will to throw a football, but what happens if they have no arms? Well, they can't throw the football. What happens if they want to kick a football, but they have no legs? You starting to see my point? That's where you don't have freedom of action to do the thing that you will, that you were causally willed to do. Oh, I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Everything's got a cause, and our freedom of will is non-existent, and our freedom of action kind of comes in degrees depending on what we're physically capable of doing. So about freedom and choice, this subject that I'm studying in depth, everything I read about is philosophy, basically, about about free will, about how free we are in our choices. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed my video, my crazy rant.